Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool AllStars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Acea Baker. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to you and find out what's going on.
I'm excited to share.
We love to get a little background before we jump right into your preschool story. So why don't you tell me what was going on in your life before you decided to start your own business?
Sure. So I was actually a kindergarten teacher, and I was a kindergarten teacher for 2 years. And right when the pandemic hit, so last March, our school went virtual. All the schools basically shut down.
Yep.
And I had my, I guess he was like 5 or 6 month old son at that point. So I really enjoyed being home with him and like working simultaneously from home. So my husband and I had a conversation, and we were like, like our checks are paying for daycare, like all these things. So why don't I just stay home? And I was also pregnant with my second. So I was like, that'd be twice the daycare. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, that'd be twice the daycare. So we were like, why don't I just stay home the next year and see how it goes? So then we decided for me to stay home, and I was a stay-at-home mom and stuff all summer, and I was bored out of my mind. I was trying to pick here and there things to do. I have a very strong entrepreneurial spirit. So I was trying to do like bath and body care stuff. And then I found out that that's not my passion. And then that October, I came across a Facebook ad from Joy Anderson. And that's kind of how everything started with the preschool.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So you were a teacher, but you had 2 kids. You wanted to stay at home, but then you realized you need to do something also while you stay at home.
Yes, exactly.
I totally understand that. Okay, so you found joy, and then what happened?
So I joined like the free Facebook group in October, and I think I did the challenge then, the 7-day challenge. But I wasn't like fully invested in it. I was just kind of like, oh yeah. And then I ordered the book, and I read the whole book literally in like a day and a half. It was like, I can't put it down. Yeah. And so I didn't join Preschool AllStars or anything then, because I was like, maybe I can do this on my own. Like, I don't really know if I need to be like a Preschool AllStar type of thing. And then so from October to January, I was trying to do it on my own because I missed the deadline for Preschool AllStars. So I was just kind of trying to figure out, okay, what I need to do. I followed the book, I read the book, and I followed all the steps in there. And then everything else, I kind of tried to piece together on my own and like ask questions in the free group. My original plan was to start local. So from October to November, I was planning to do local. And then in December, I was like, maybe I need to do online, because I can get it started faster. I can get my feet wet a little bit and just kind of see what it's like, because I had never taught 3 to 5-year-olds. I'd always been, school age. Right. So that's in December is when I decided to try to focus on online and plan for that. And then I tried to do that on my own. And then there was another 7-day challenge again in January or February. I joined it. And then that's when I joined Preschool AllStars. I got Preschool in the Box. Yeah. All the things. Yes. And I haven't turned around since. And then in February is when I opened my online preschool of this year. And it's been great since. It's been really fun.
Awesome. Well, what a journey. Okay. So now tell us about your preschool.
So the name of my preschool is Fruitful Foundations Academy. And we focus on like math, literacy, and Jesus. That's kind of like my 3 components that I like to focus on, and kind of just like laying the foundations for them. Like as a kindergarten teacher, I kind of have an idea of what I wish students would have known coming into kindergarten, or like things I would feel good with my current students going to kindergarten with those certain skills and understandings. So I try to use some of that to focus my curriculum. I use like a little bit of stuff from Teachers Pay Teachers. I kind of create my own little activities, just a bunch of different things, but it's ages 3 to 5. I had a 3 to 4-year-old class, and then I had a 4 to 5-year-old class, just to kind of split it up. I had to be honest and say I didn't start with 3-year-olds because I was really nervous about keeping their attention online. Yeah. So my first class that I started in February was my 4 to 5-year-old class, and I only had 1 student in February. So that whole month I was just talking to her, and it was kind of nice because it was kind of like one-on-one tutoring. I really got to help her and like dig in deep with her then. But then it was like each month since then, it kind of got my students like doubled, it felt like, each month. So that was really exciting to see.
So how many do you have now?
Now I have nine.
Awesome. And how is it set up? What hours and what days do you do that? Do you do class?
Yeah, so I do both of my classes are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. They're an hour long and they're live. Okay. I do my 3 to 4 year old class from 11 to like, I guess they're not an hour. They're like 30 to 45 minutes, but I always give myself an hour just in case. But it starts at 11. And then at 12 o'clock is when I teach my second class. So, and that one's my 4 to 5 year olds. And again, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. And so is it like teaching time and then preschool pals? Are they muted the whole time or are they not muted, or how does that work?
I think it really depends on the day. So I don't really do like a preschool pals and like a teaching time. I feel like all of mine is kind of teaching time because it's something I feel like I've kind of struggled with, is like I'm in this kindergarten mindset and I'm only online, and my hope is to go local because you can do so much more when you're local. Online, I feel kind of like, oh, I have this much time, I have to get everything in. Yeah. But I think that's a pressure I put on myself. But it's more so teaching time. So I try to do really engaging activities. With my older class, my 4 to 5 year olds, I sent out a learning kit this past month just to kind of test it out and see how it worked. And it's great because they actually get to manipulate things and work with things. So I really like the learning kit idea and sending out materials that they can use. And that is just kind of like general things. I'm sorry.
What kind of stuff did you put in it?
Yeah, so it's general things. So I had Play-Doh, watercolor paint, like a pad of paper, crayons. I found these really cool, I'll show you, these cool little cubes at Dollar Tree. They're like counting cubes. Okay. But I found those and I sent a bunch of those for manipulatives and popsicle sticks and pom-poms, things that we can count with and sort and pattern and all those fun things, without having to need very specific materials. So that's been really, really helpful. And I've even gotten a lot of good feedback from parents about them loving that I sent the learning kit because it's supplemental for them and they can like physically see things that we're doing too.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I know what you mean. I taught 1st and 2nd grade before I started preschool. So I totally know what you mean. Just like trying to shove it all in because that's what we're so used to, you know, we're used to having to shove everything down their throats. And even if they don't get it, we have to keep moving on. And
exactly
that, like, we don't have to do that, but it takes like totally retraining your brain. And I've had to step back so many times and be like, wait a second, these are 3-year-olds. Like I did this because I didn't want to be shoving, you know, that stuff down their throats. I wanted to keep it, you know, developmentally appropriate. I have to like stop myself and remind myself of that because it's hard when you're trained to do that. And that's why
so hard
the profession, and then you find yourself doing it.
It's so hard. Like you said, you have to relearn how to do it because you have to realize like 3 to 5 year olds really just want to play and develop and move. Yeah. And that's been something like on days where I'm like, okay, they've had enough of this. I'm like, okay. In my brain, I'm like, just keep going with the lesson. But then I'm also like, okay, wait, we can stop. We can talk about dogs for 10 minutes and it's okay because this is what they're interested in.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so
it's like freeing because once you like are able to do it, you're like, yeah, I can do this. I can make this whatever I want, but it's hard to get out of the mindset of like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And then you're like, why am I doing this? No, I don't have to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, how do you think that Joy and the AllStars helped you build your business to where it is right now?
Oh my gosh, they helped me so much. Like I said earlier, I was trying to do it on my own from like November to December / January. And I just had the toughest time trying to figure out how it all works. Like, how do I actually do this? I don't know. Like, you can read the book and you can do everything and you get the tidbits. But once I got into Preschool AllStars, I was able to ask questions and get feedback like right away to help me problem solve and process like what I was going through. And then, I think Joy just puts so much into everything. She just gives you everything she has. Like I even showed my husband, but when I bought Preschool in a Box, I was like, look at all this stuff that's in here. And he was like, she literally laid this out for you step by step. I said, I know. And he was like, I'm so glad you got this. I said, me too. Because even something as simple as like registration forms, like even though we're online right now, registration forms are so simple, but you're still just like, well, what do I put on there? Do I need to have like not disclaimers, but do I need to have like backup plans, or what do I say about missed classes? Like there's just so much stuff that, has already been done for you. Like, why not just take advantage of it when it's there? So I would say that definitely helped me get out of my head a little bit and like push forward and have that support, because no one else around me is doing this. So on their own. So to be in a community where every woman is trying to do this is really empowering and just gives you some real good encouragement when you need it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Tell me about the time that you got your first sign up. What was that like?
Oh my gosh, it was so exciting because I just didn't even know what to expect. I was like, I'm gonna put this out there, and like people probably don't want to do online preschool with me. Like, who am I? And then I got my first sign up, and I was like, oh wait a minute, okay, and okay, this is real. This is real. So that was really exciting. And then, like I said, I had that one student for the whole month of February, and was really excited to work with her one-on-one. But I was also like, I really want her to have some classmates to interact, because that's like part of the point of this is for them to talk to other kids their age.
Right.
And so what I ended up doing in March was opening enrollment for a 3 to 4 year old class. I just took it. I was like, okay, I'm going to do 3 to 4 year olds because I know there are people who need that for their 3 to 4 year olds. And I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to embrace this process and embrace what they bring to the table. And that is actually when I got more enrollments. And even though I was enrolling for 3 to 4 year olds, I actually got 2 or 3 more students for my 4 to 5 year old class from that, because some of them were like, well, my kid already knows these things, so can we go to this class? And I was like, sure, that's totally fine. So that's kind of how that happened.
Awesome. Yeah. And how much do you charge for a class?
So I charge $67 a month for the 3 to 4 year old class, because there was like no learning kit or anything. It was just straight online. And then I charged $95 for the 4 to 5 year old class because of the learning kits and the materials I was sending out.
Okay. Awesome. What do you think the biggest roadblock you had to overcome so far has been?
Curriculum.
Yeah.
Yes.
What have you ended up, like to know you said you were taking some from Teachers Pay Teachers. Has it just been like a mishmash?
Kind of, yes. I have tried a little bit of everything. I have gone to look at standards because I'm in Tennessee. So I've gone to look at Tennessee preschool standards. I have gone to do research to figure out like what NAEYC. I can't ever remember the acronym. What they recommend. Like, I've done so much research on preschool curriculum, and then I just kind of take like bits and pieces, like, okay, today we're gonna do rhyming, and I find rhyming pictures and we rhyme, or we match rhyming words, things like that. But almost everything they need to know is just kind of, you can find things to put to them. If you do the research and you figure out they need to know, like, the alphabetic principle and all these different things, you can kind of find activities to match those areas on your own. And I did do a few of the preschool in a box lessons, like the themes. I took some of the themes and kind of rolled with them. And they really liked how at the end of the class, we would look at pictures and talk about these different themes. But then I switched. It's just been the past couple months have just been me trying to figure out what works best for my kids. And it's just been like as a teacher, you're just kind of rolling with the punches and you trial and error and you keep moving. So that's kind of what it's been. And it's been an enjoyable learning experience, but curriculum has definitely been the biggest challenge, because I have all this pressure in my brain that's like, are you doing the right thing? Is this what's best for your kids? So yeah,
I totally feel that. When I first started in the summer with my online, I was doing like the magic bag and just like a letter, a number, a shape, a color, and they loved that. They loved the magic bag so much. And once I started my local preschool at the same time, I was doing like themes and stuff. So I was able to like use what I was teaching in my local and kind of transfer it to the online. And that made it a lot easier because I already had the materials and the themes and everything set up.
Yes, I saw your video on the podcast or on YouTube or something, your online teaching video. And I was like, wow, I love this.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. But yeah, I definitely struggled with with the curriculum as well. And I still struggle with, the curriculum in my local preschool, like finding stuff. I have some that I really love and some that I feel hasn't worked. And I'm still like, piecing stuff together because, this was my first year teaching preschool too. I'd always taught elementary. So it's definitely a learning curve, but once you get it, the best part is then it's there, like
Exactly.
this is our first year. So now going forward, we know what we're just perfecting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. So if I ask your parents, your preschool parents, why they chose your school, what do you think they would say?
Oh, good question. I actually did surveys with my parents recently, so I'm just going to take what they said on
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
So most of them have said that they really love the Bible lessons that I do, like the scriptures, because we do a memory verse every week and we practice it every day. And then we read a story that goes along with it. So they really love that. And they really love, this is so small, but it's something so funny to me, how when we do scavenger hunts, like, go find something that's orange.
Yep.
I give them a minute timer and they go find something for a minute. And then after we've talked about what they found, I say, you have 1 minute to go put it back where you found it.
Yeah.
And parents are like, we love that because then it's not just out on the table still. So it's just so simple.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, so they love the Bible time. They love that little bitty thing, which I thought was hilarious. And then they say they just like how it feels and like they feel like their kids are getting used to structure. And I think that's a really big deal too for kids 3 to 5 is they need something to do and something to know what's happening next, and giving them just even 30 to 45 minutes a day of something structured is like, well, I have school today. So that's the 3 things that parents have told me that they really enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. If you could go back in time and tell your past self, one thing that when you were thinking about starting this preschool, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, that's a good question.
No, I'm jumping on these hard questions for you.
Yeah. I think if I were to go to my past self, I would tell her not to stress so much because it's really not, like, it is a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal. Like, you can always go back and fix something if you made an error, or if you feel like you didn't do a lesson well enough, you can always go back and review it and reteach it. I think, again, it's just curriculum has been my biggest thing because I'm used as a teacher having everything laid out, and not having it laid out and coming up with on my own is kind of like, whew, I want to make sure I hit everything. Also, I think since I started in March, I only had 3 or 4 months, because I'm ending this week, 3 or 4 months to do everything I wanted to do. And that's not realistic to do a whole year's worth of things in 4 months. So I've been putting that pressure on myself. So I think I would go back and tell myself, it's cool. You only have 4 months. Just do what you can in 4 months, and you will have made progress either way.
Yeah, totally. So what are your next plans for your preschool?
So currently I'm in this weird transition process because my real desire is to go local. Like, I want to go local so bad, but I found out that I can't have it in my home. So I was kind of bummed about that. And I feel like I kind of hit a wall. And so right now I'm in, sorry.
Is that because of licensing regulations?
My HOA.
Oh, HOA.
I know. I was so sad. So they said sorry.
Where are you located?
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. You said Tennessee.
Yeah. So HOA said we couldn't do it. So that kind of put a stumble on things, and we just bought our house. So it was like, well, we can't really move into a new house. So so I'm kind of hit a roadblock. So I'm currently in the process of like looking for churches that have outdoor space that I'll be able to like partner with. But if local is not an option, then I'll probably continue with online, just because half of my online kids actually do live in like my surrounding area. Some of them live in other cities. And so I really don't want to just like kind of leave my kids in other cities, hanging. And so I would really like to continue online for them, but it just kind of depends on what's happening in the future. So right now it's kind of uncertain, but I'm very hopeful for what's to come. And if I do online, I have a whole structure in my head on how I could set it up to make it feel better and just make it feel kind of more like a school environment,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope you're able to find something. I know a lot of people have had success doing it in churches.
Yes, thank you.
So what about for women what would you like to say for any women who are thinking about joining the All-Stars or thinking about starting their preschool, but not really sure if they could do it, not really sure if they should do it? What would you say to them to give them some words of encouragement?
I would say do it, because I was on my own. I was like you, not you, Bethany, but whoever's watching
Like
and is
you.
on the fence. But I was like you, and I was on the fence about whether I should join Preschool All-Stars or get Preschool in a Box. And I was trying to do it on my own, and I could do it on my own, but I hit things and I hit mental roadblocks that were hard for me to overcome by myself, because I didn't have that support. No one around me was doing the same thing, so I couldn't go to anyone for advice or encouragement. Preschool All-Stars is that community where you can go and get over your roadblocks. Even if they don't like physically get you over it, like, I don't have it, my HOA says no. Preschool All-Stars can't come in and like change my HOA's mind, but they can encourage me, or they can tell me, hey, here are some other options for you to look at, and guide you with those different options. And the great thing about Preschool All-Stars is that there's women on different parts of their journey. Some are on the same part as you, some are maybe ahead of you, some are behind you, but everyone can come together and like bring you to a level-headed place where you're like, I can do this. And it doesn't matter what the naysayers say, because I believe in my project and I think it's going to take off if I just continue and I work hard and I don't give up and I just stay focused. I think it's really easy to give up when you start it and it seems hard, but if you believe in it strong enough and you believe God put this in your pathway, then you are going to go for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those tidbits of wisdom.
Sure.
And thank you so much for joining us today. We loved hearing your story, and I wish you all the best. I hope you find yourself a great space to
Thank you.
start your local in, and I wish you all the best of luck continuing your online class as well.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so grateful.
Of course, we loved it. We'll see you later, okay?
All right, bye.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All-Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All-Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All-Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.